here now. It wasn't even coming up on my the live stream wasn't coming up. I'm not sure. Facebook was just being weird with me today.
Oh, yeah, these strange things happen. So we've got some time together. I don't want to take up all your time. I know what an amazingly busy woman you are. But I'd love you to share a bit about your journey to where you are and what you do, Ronke. I'm so pleased that you're going to be a speaker at our Confidence to Sell event on Thursday night, being held at RBS/NatWest in Islington. I thought you'd be the perfect person for the panel. So I'd love for you to actually just tell us a bit about you, because and yeah, where you are and what you do.
Thank you. So thank you once again for the invitation. Thanks for the patience with our technological issues. My name is Ronke Lawal. I'm the founder of Ariatu Public Relations, and I undertake PR communications for small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs. And that can include media relations, that can include crisis communications management, strategy, personal development, personal branding, not personal development, personal branding, and all the things that encompass PR.
Great. And actually, I was quite excited when I heard that crisis communication, because I think there's probably more and more crisis communications now. I saw yesterday that Wetherspoons have taken themselves off Twitter, the pub, because it's just people just use it to complain. And I saw the other day that Bradley Walsh was singing to Drake, and you said, I hope this doesn't turn into a crisis situation. Driving his car, wasn't he? And
yeah.
Whatever. Do you think that's a big thing? Is that a big thing now, crisis communications?
I think technology and the digital landscape has amplified crisis in a way it never had done before when it comes to crisis. I think with a lot of corporations, if you look at the historical kind of internal communications and PR of a lot of corporations, they have PR departments who will handle a crisis. I mean, if anybody watched Scandal, I guess more popular culture reference, inside the White House is pretty much how a lot of corporations deal with their crisis. So they keep it locked before it becomes this big thing. But because of social media and because of the way a lot of people use social media, the minute it leaks, any little misstep leaks with videos, tweets, even just the use of social media, it amplifies crisis. So there's always been crisis. It's just how corporations, entrepreneurs, businesses have handled it. And I personally believe that social media is actually a good thing. I think with the Wetherspoon situation, there is a little bit of an agenda there, and they're using it to their own agenda. But social media is a great listening tool. I mean, even with this conversation we're having now, it's not just about selling. It's about, understanding your customer, your client, your potential audience, and listening to what's going on and what's trending. So it's really important. And if there ever is a time to kind of embrace and understand crisis, as we see with the Starbucks situation in the US recently, it's now. And we can't. And I always say to clients, big and small, you can't bury your head in the sand when it comes to any aspects of crisis and any aspects of social media. And it's not social media's fault per se, just that social media and technology has just enhanced the optics, how we're looking at things. I think I don't know if people remember, there's a show on the BBC where you used to be able to write in to complain about things.
Points of view.
Yeah, points of view, yeah. And basically what social media is doing is just letting us do it every single day.
Yeah.
And watch them.
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought about it like that so much before. But yeah, points of view online, my goodness. I used to love that show. I used to love hearing people's points of view. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Do you think that's where Twitter got the idea from?
Potentially, probably.
So how long's your business been running?
I've been going for it'll be almost 14 years. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a long time. And I know you've had other roles and still do alongside your business. Tell us about those kind of roles that you've had.
Yes, so I started my business about 14 years ago. About 5 or 6, I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to get the timeline right. In the middle of my business career, I had a CEO role for a Chamber of Commerce. So I was there full time working with the Chamber of Commerce in Islington for about 3 years. I still had the business, but it was more of a 9 to 5 than a 5 to 9 business situation. It was before I was working at the Chamber, it was the business was full time. But I felt like I needed something to exercise my business clout or my, it was almost like a working MBA. So I felt like I'd become a bit stagnant in my business. So I found this opportunity. It was a great opportunity. So I moved into the working world. After 3 years, I would move back full time into business. So I've had different experiences with some people, and I was able to rebrand my business after coming out of the Chamber of Commerce, and it was an excellent opportunity for me to really hone in onto what I'm good at, which is PR. Whereas before I was doing marketing, business development, as well as PR. So I was trying to do a full umbrella kind of service for small businesses, but now I focus more on PR. And as well as that, I've got trustee positions. So I'm a trustee for a charity, still in Islington actually. A trustee for a charity in Islington. I'm a board member for a pensions board, a pensions organisation, and I was recently appointed board member for the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. So I have other
Wow.
things that I do in the business world, but the business world is still, yeah, business is still there.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I think they complement each other, don't they? You're always getting new ideas and being able to share what you know and what you do with different audiences by being part of other organisations and being connected, and give something back as well, which is a key part of I think, what we want to do. So you've had a very varied and interesting career. I would ask a question about PR actually. I mean, as a business, could you just not bother with it? And this, can you could you say, I'm not even going to get involved in PR. I don't do PR. I don't need it. If you think that's possible.
To a degree, I think. I think if we're looking at it context. If we compartmentalize it, if you're looking at the corner shop, local pub, they might not necessarily need PR per se. They handle things on a very day-to-day basis. A local pub might get a mention in their local gazette, or if they have a crisis, they might handle it internally. There's nothing their audience their public is quite localized. But if you're a business that's growing, you're set on growth beyond your local kind of postcode, so to speak. I think PR is still very powerful. And we have to remember PR is more than the media relations aspect. So it's more than just getting coverage in the press. It's also how your reputation is built. So it's about building your credibility. It's about how are you undertaking good relationship management with your customers. So it's an ongoing process. So you can try and overlook it, but it will always come up to some degree. And as you grow, it's going to come up even more. And that's why with a lot of corporations, they invest a lot of money in PR. They invest a lot of money in handling kind of the media relations aspects of things. And they, as we know, they invest a lot of money in crisis communications aspects of things as well.
Yeah, so even though you said you could potentially try and avoid it, in many ways you can't by the sound of it. It just sounds like it's something that's there. And if you want to build and grow a business, you do need to be considering it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's really important for people to recognise. It's not an optional extra so much. If you don't do PR, maybe PR is going to do you, and you're better off to be in control of it, have some really good advice and someone like you.
Absolutely, that's a really good way of putting it. And whilst I'm quite aside from this afternoon, the technology doesn't normally fail me as such. But with social media, the social media landscape, I always tell people you've got to understand that it's changed. And a lot of my colleagues in the industry have shown us that even if, and you use a really good example of Wetherspoons, even if you're trying to ignore and push away PR or digital, it's still going to be there and it still exists and you can't really run away from it. And I think for most people, even if you're not going to hire someone or an agency to undertake your PR, I think it's really important just to, read up on it, take a course, watch some videos, know what it's about. It's really important.
Yeah, I noticed, I follow you and I get your newsletter and things like that. I noticed you're doing something called strategy sessions now. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I feel like with everything, you have to have an intention behind your activity. So with PR in particular, when when business owners or potential business owners or clients come to me, I'm always really keen to make sure they understand the strategic intention behind PR. So a lot of the clients I get, obviously initially they want media coverage, they want media relations first and foremost. But I'm always really clear: how is it going to feed through to your other aspects of your business? What is the thinking behind any PR campaign? Who are we speaking to? So I've designed these strategy sessions to really focus on what every step of the process will be. And it really does help with clients, because especially potential clients, especially anybody who's never done PR before, it makes it feeds to a greater understanding of what PR is, and it enables them to tie it into every other aspect of their business. So, one thing I would always say, if I can just touch on that briefly, is PR might not necessarily have an impact on your bottom line immediately. So it might not necessarily attract immediate sales, because it's ongoing credibility and reputation. But if you align it with your sales strategy and your marketing strategy, your advertising, and even your finance bottom line, it will work quite well. So it's about being strategic.
I love that. I love that. And I definitely hear what you're saying. I'm so glad that you're kind of really open with people about the realistic expectations of results. Because as you know, I've been on Sky lots of times. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have 1,000 people calling me the next day, or whatever. Doesn't necessarily work like that, but it does have an overall awareness and, as you said, credibility thing that I definitely have felt the glow from. So I definitely agree that the realistic expectations, I think people, well, not everybody I guess, but I think a lot of people think immediately it's going to result in people banging your door down. It doesn't necessarily work like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say with that, Jenny, is and people often, especially when we look at media relations, people always want the big. You use a really good example. Sky News is fabulous, and I love the fact that you are a visible woman on a platform as notable as Sky News. But then what I always tell to clients, and that's part of the strategic conversations, is it doesn't always have to be the big media platforms. The micro platforms, the bloggers, the influencers, even just if they use their own social media platforms, can make just as much of an impact. I've had scenarios with clients where we've had them featured on the biggest platforms, but it's when they actually get a review from a nice niche blog or a nice niche online magazine, that's where their actual impact comes in, or the sales come through. So sometimes it's about identifying what are your priorities. Is it just to be seen and actually have the alignment with the big media outlets, or is it to be strategic in terms of who is your audience? And sometimes those smaller media outlets have direct access to your audience.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh, gosh, you're giving us so many wonderful nuggets already. I hope everyone can see why you've been chosen as a panelist, because there's going to be so much useful information coming from you at our event. So just to give people a little taster of what they might get, I was hoping that you could maybe give us one top tip on something that gives, based on the event about the confidence to sell, one top tip around self-promotion, around confidence. You've already given us quite a lot actually, but just one more, because we're greedy, that you might have, that you might want to share.
Okay, I think a really good top tip for me is, sometimes you have to, and I think that's something that you as a coach would know, it's about feeling the fear of something and using the energy of that fear to do something unusual. So even attending an event like the event that you've organised, the Confidence to Sell, going along and literally using the energy, because fear works in two ways. It can either keep you stuck, or it can motivate you to do something better. So the top tip that I have, and that's for anything, even when it comes to media, like having your first press interview on TV or public speaking, feel and use the energy of fear to go out there and do it, and don't let it stop you or block you or keep you where you are. So I definitely say use the energy of fear to go out there and network. And networking is really, really important and essential in terms of the long term. Again, it's all part of the PR process, going out there and meeting your potential customers, clients, or just business buddies, people who can be your ambassadors when you're not in the room. So use whatever nerves or fear you have when it comes to selling or networking, and just transform that energy into movement and go out there and sell and promote yourself.
Lovely. Gosh, I'm energized. I'm ready to go. That was brilliant. That was so helpful. Well, I have one little offer that I'm sharing today. So our early bird has finished for our event, but they got sold out really quickly. And now the tickets are half price, and the ticket sales end today at midnight. Well, at 11:30 actually, so not at midnight. And what I'm going to do is anyone who books today on the half price ticket will get a signed copy of my book, Rocking Your Role, on the evening. So when they arrive, there'll be a copy already signed and ready for them. So you're getting a really good deal here. £25 for listening to experts like Ronke, myself, Valerie Malone, and also Chris Kettle. The opportunity to network, refreshments. You'll get all of that for a wonderful price of £25, plus a copy of my book, Rocking Your Role, which retails at £12.99. So a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good deal. Please grab it while you can. It's going to be a wonderful event, and we're going to have some rich discussion, really diverse panel, and we're going to come away with some practical and inspirational tips to start actually selling yourself and actually promoting yourself in the way that actually helps people to understand what's of value that you have, and so they can take advantage of it. Any last thoughts or words from you, Ronke?
Any last thoughts and words for me? I feel like I want everybody to come to your event. So all my followers and your followers should go to your event. I think it's a fantastic concept, and hopefully they can use the lessons that are learned at the event and through this conversation we're having to push themselves and be bolder in their business journeys and entrepreneurial journeys.
Thank you so much. We just had one person join us at this last minute, Katrina. Welcome, Katrina. We're talking about the Confidence to Sell event. You probably have to watch the replay, but Ronke's just given us so much valuable information about PR, about how you should be intentional in terms of your PR, and how she does strategy days. She's also shared a wonderful top tip in terms of developing your own confidence to sell. And I've also just shared a really great special offer. Our event is on Thursday night at 6 p.m. It's networking, refreshment, and an amazing panel of Ronke, Valerie Malone from Atos, and also Chris Kettle from NatWest. And I'll be hosting and chairing the panel. And my offer today is the tickets are now at the moment at half price. They're going to finish tonight at 11 p.m. And anyone who buys a ticket today will also get a copy of my book, Rocking Your Role, as well as the wonderful access to the event. So I don't know if you have any questions, Katrina, because we'll be closing this very shortly. But I'll give you a couple of minutes just in case you've got a quick question for Ronke or myself. No. Am I still sideways? I can't be still sideways. Sorry, I'm seeing messages come through. Or are they coming through live, or are they old messages? Someone called Tope Babel, I don't know. It said hello to you, Ronke. Tope Babel.
Hi.
Yes, is that right?
Babel. Yes, I think that's.
Babalola. They said hello to you, Ronke. Katrina says you're amazing. And
thank you.
But I think what happened was that all of the old messages suddenly came through in one go, so I had like 20 messages coming through. I was like, oh, am I still sideways? Okay, so I don't know. Sorry, I didn't say hello to Tope or Tope earlier. I only just saw that you were on the message. But I hope that you've got a lot out of this conversation. Ronke is amazing, and just to share something about Ronke. I don't know how long it is ago now, 1 or 2 years ago. Ronke and I just met up for a coffee, just to have a little one-to-one chat. And Ronke said to me, "What next for you, Jenny?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. What do you think should be next for me?" And she said, "You should do a TED Talk." And I said, "Oh, I'm waiting for someone to invite me to do a TED Talk." And she said, "No, don't wait. Go out and find out how to do a TED Talk. Go on their website." And since then, I've done 2 TEDx talks, and it's thanks to Ronke just giving me a push in the right direction. It's like, go on, Jenny. What are you waiting for? Get off your bum and go and get it if you want it. And that was amazing, and it was really helpful to me. Thank you, Ronke.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Thank you so much for sharing. That's really good.
yeah. So she's amazing. And, you know, if you're looking for a push in the right direction and you're around your PR, she's the woman to go to, as well as this confidence to sell that we're going to have. So V's saying she's met you as well. And she says you do great videos on YouTube. Awesome sauce. I like that.
Thank you. God. That's funny.
Great. All right, I think we're going to have to say bye-bye now. I've taken up so much of your time. We'll edit this video down so we haven't got the beginning with me saying, are you there, are you there? And I'll share it with you if you want to share it anywhere.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. Take care.
Bye.